There have been several studies actually also on what type of health workforce models are out there. So recently there was a systematic review on this. So I could refer to that review, but if I look at the HEROES countries, I see diversity and differences. And I would say that we also need to be positive about the differences, not negative. One model can be more elaborated or more advanced than the other, but it depends on the country and it depends on the goal of the model. So I think that's more important than to rank the models in terms what is the best model. A model should fit the country and should support its policy. I think that's of the main importance. And if you look at the goals that models are used for, health workforce planning models are used for, is often for forecasting. So that's great, but I would say forecasting to do what-if type of analysis. So that is an important goal. And another goal is of course planning. But planning, if you think of it, can also mean different things for different policies. So of course an obvious goal of a health workforce planning model is to plan training inflow, for instance. Numerous clauses, how many professionals to train. But also can be planning in terms of human resource management and for instance retainment of personnel, of control in demand forecasting and demand trends in society. So it depends on the country and the planning goal to give an answer to your question, what is the diversity, what type of systems do you see? We see variety, and I think that's good.
Thank you. Okay, second question, and then we will decide on the open question. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. If there are
okay, so second question. What must-have features should a top-tier health workforce planning tool include to handle today's challenges? Do you already have such a tool in your context?
Well, first of all, if you look at any model, it's a simplicity, a simple version of reality. So if you put data into a model, absolutely is always important that data is valid, is reliable and is accurate. So that is a basic requirements which are of key importance. And it sounds easy, but sometimes data is scattered, you know, data is in different sources, you know, professional data about professionals, about employers, providers, about costs. And all these data sources need to be combined to feed into a model and a health workforce model as well. So that's, let's say, the technical part, the data part, and the validity part. The other part is, of course, that models needs to be used, needs to be supportive. And therefore, a model should not be a black box. It should be understandable and transparent for stakeholders. Even also stakeholders who are not statistical experts or model experts. And they need to understand what are the mechanisms that are simulated or projected, and it needs to be understandable with regard what goes in and what goes out, what comes out of this. And so a model should be trustable. That's maybe the word.
Perfect, thank you. That's a really great answer. I have follow-up questions, but next time. Okay, question 3. By the end of HEROES, what would be an acceptable outcome for you, and what would you be genuinely delighted to achieve? Wow. Could you give some specific measurable examples?
Yeah, well, that's of course a key question and a right question. I mean, we all invest a lot of resources into the joint action, of course, and we're making progress. We also see this. To make things tangible takes time also. And as you know, we also have a role in evaluation, in the work package that evaluates the ongoing processes, steps that we are taking in HEROES. So we think about what can we sort of measure and what can we see. I think an acceptable outcome would be that each and every country in its own way, in its own pace, and in its own manner benefits from the joint action, from the mutual learning, and makes steps. And these can be smaller steps, larger steps. This can be steps in terms of these models or in terms of its policies, in terms of stakeholder involvement. Here we have the diversity again, right? And that's also good. So there will be no one fits all indicator or evaluation dimension or measurement, I would say. There would be different, but I think for each and every country, or maybe clusters of countries, to see progress. And I think we already see this, and we will see this at the end of the HERO joint action. And with regard to your question, what would be wow, what will be astonishing, I think when at the end of the HEROS project we see those progresses and we see the steps of each and every country, and each and every country has sustainability plans in place, that's already a wow. And that's already that countries can continue themselves, and hopefully also with support of each other and other instruments.
Thank you, and I am going to be a little bit free with the open question because I'm really curious, so that's shortly. If you can, but you can go long if you want. So, in the project, a lot of countries find your tool and trying to implement your tool. So, what are the lessons learned from, or your experiences with that? Because you did training in one country and then helped in regards of task to a lot of country to have like this really well worked tool. You've been implemented 10 years ago, so I know it's like a long and sustainable thing for you. So what are the focus points of this for you, and what are the experiences with the countries? How do you see the countries do well with the tool or this implementation?
What we see is, well, first of all, we never thought that our Excel model, which is a simple version of the actual planning model we have in place in the Netherlands for medical residence planning mostly, is that it would be taken up. It was first of all meant as a tool for training, for demonstration, and getting the basic understanding of demand modeling, supply modeling, and modeling the gap between demand and supply, and optimizing, and try to minimize or to control that gap. And as such, we are actually quite happy that a number of countries took over the model, and that we were able to share this also in 2 workshops during the HEROS meetings. And actually that a number of countries, Malta for instance, also really use it and apply it. So that's great, and but we also see that at a certain moment your model, as simple as it is, needs extension and needs specification. So for instance, you look at outflow, but you want to look at different types of outflow, or you want to distinguish between male and female professionals, for instance, or not on a national but on a regional level. And then of course our basic Excel model needs to grow and needs to extend. But in some way you need to start simple. And especially for those countries who are starting with planning, thinking about planning, we are glad that we have this model in place, and it is used, and we also learn on how to develop it further. So it shows mutual benefit.